Hello. So let's understand how the blood pressure unit works from medical science point of view and how doctor checks and measures our blood pressure. So when we feel unwell, we go to doctor or we go to doctor for a routine checkup. So doctor usually places a blood pressure unit onto our arm. So here is the doctor, you can see, and here is the person sitting, and this is a manual machine to measure and check the blood pressure. So what you see, let's understand the components of this machine. So this blue uh, is called as cuff. This is the stethoscope of the doctor, which is plugged into doctor's ear, and this is a small unit through which the air is inflated into the cuff, and where that is happening, when that is happening, the air goes inside the cuff and it starts to fill in the cuff with the air, and because of that the arm, we feel tightening of our arm, around our arm. So how doctor measures the blood pressure? So you see that this cuff is wrapped up around the arm, and there is this meter which needle is deflected as the pressure increases or decreases. So what doctor does is that with this small air bag, he squeezes this bag, so air is inflated inside the cuff, and we feel tightening of our arm because of the cuff is filled with the air. And due to this, the normal blood flow through the artery, I say again, the normal blood flow, this is the blood flow through the artery. So let me use the different color to draw the artery. Let's say this is your artery, this is your artery, and the green is the flow of a blood. So this blood flow is stopped for a moment, so it's like oculated when the air is filled, and you feel tightening, full tightening of your arm for a moment. And after some time, doctor starts releasing the air by deflating this air through the cuff. So when the air is released from the cuff, your pressure starts dropping. So the pressure stops dropping, the artery is opened for a moment, and the blood starts flowing again. And doctor at this moment starts listening to the sounds through the stethoscope. So the moment the sound starts coming into the ear of a doctor, that reading is recorded. That is called as systolic blood pressure reading. We'll see that in a moment through the graph. And this process continues. The pressure is starting dropping because the air is being released through the cuff, and we feel loosening of our arm. The tightening of our arm has happened, and now we start feeling loosening the pressure around our arm, and the doctor is listening to the sound. From the moment he first heard the beep, that is the first reading, and the pressure is now dropping, and for some time he keeps listening to the sound, and the moment he stops listening to the sound, that is another reading of a pressure which is called as diastolic pressure. Okay, so these two readings are recorded, and then doctor tells us what is your blood pressure and how you are doing. So let us understand this concept through by means of a graph. So here is your graph. What you can see, that the red sinusoidal waveform, that is your blood pressure variation into the artery, and this gray line indicates your pressure inside the cuff. Okay, so you now see that the point A and point B indicates the sound that is coming from the stethoscope, which is plugged inside the doctor's ear, and the two readings by the meter, they are recorded here. So here the display in the blood pressure gauge tells us what the pressure is that. So here is, you can see that this point where the gray touches the red tip is the point A, where is the pressure where the sound starts coming into the stethoscope. So that is point A, and you take the reading of that, which is, let's say, 120 mmHg, which is ideal reading and the normal reading. And doctor keeps listening to the sound, and while the pressure inside the cuff is dropping, and at point B, for example right here, the minimum pressure is again recorded, and after B there is no sound coming from the stethoscope. So that is the second reading. So the first reading is called as systolic BP, example 120 mmHg, and second reading is called as diastolic BP. So again I repeat, when the sound starts coming, that pressure reading is systolic BP. When the sound stops coming, that pressure reading is diastolic BP. Example is 80 mg. So here we understood by means of graph how these readings are taken and how the doctor measures a blood pressure unit. Here is another graphical representation about what is inside the body when the pressure is measured. Is a beautiful representation. As you can see that this red line is your artery, and this blue is a cuff of the pressure gauge, blood pressure unit. This is the pressure gauge meter, and this is inflatable cuff. It means you can feel in the air or you can take out the air, and at the same time the stethoscope is placed right here. This is the stethoscope, and the other end of it goes inside the doctor's ear. And here is a beautiful representation about your cuff pressure, artery, and the blood flow. So you can see in the first picture, this is the red one is the blood flow and inside the artery, and it shows that when the cuff pressure is more than 120 mmHg, it means your blood flow is narrowed inside the artery. Here it is normal, here is normal, but inside somewhere it is narrowed, and this is how the representation can be. If the cuff pressure is between 80 and 120 mg, so you can see that there is a little more flow of the blood, and this is how the representation looks like. Finally, your cuff pressure is less than 80 mmHg, so you have a normal blood flow, and this is how the representation look like. So I hope you understood what blood pressure is, what are its different types like such as systolic and diastolic, and what should be the normal reading, how doctor measures the blood pressure, and how the manual blood pressure unit works, what are its components. All this information we have given, and nowadays there are digital blood pressure unit which are portable, small size, small weight, and accurate. We'll understand them in some other future sessions. So hope you liked this video, you found it informative, and if you did so, do like and subscribe to the channel, share the information with others. We've got this technical point of view of how the blood pressure is measured. So wish you happy learning, and keep healthy, keep safe, enjoy